M3.
Welcome to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast,
M3.
the #1 resource for automotive sales professionals, managers, and owners
M3.
to learn how to make money, accumulate wealth, and to all out ball out in the auto industry. And now your hosts, Sean V. Bradley and L.A. Williams.
1, 2, 3, 4,
M3.
Hey everybody, this is Sean V. Bradley, the president of Dealer Synergy, and the creator of the Millionaire Car Salesman Facebook group, the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and the Millionaire Car Salesman Morning Show. And I'm here with my main man, Mr. Cody Carter, aka Sell Like Cody. His whole platform, Sell Like Cody. So Cody, what's up, brother? Talk to us.
That's been crazy. It's been busy. I've been doing stuff here. There's been a lot of changes internally. So it's, you haven't seen much from me lately, but I'm back, and Sean and I are here to chat.
Absolutely. So I just asked you the magic question is, how have you been doing? And you told me that for the last 90 days, you've been averaging about 105 cars. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. So as Corey comes in, we're going to keep talking, and then he's going to kind of join us. But okay, so tell us, what is the dynamics been like you've been dealing with? What is your biggest challenge? Inventory?
Yeah, it's crazy. Toyota still has one of the lowest, ground stock of any brand out there right now. So we're struggling with that, especially we've seen it just the beginning of this month where, there's 10 cars on the ground. So it's been tough. We haven't received any deliveries up until today. So it's we're going to start seeing some of that come in, but we, unlike some brands, are still seeing the struggle of inventory.
All right. So we've got my man, Corey from King Automotive. He's an up and coming, superstar. He's on, Bradley the Man. And Corey, we're live in the Millionaire Car Salesman Facebook group. We're live. And it's okay, you're late to your own party, but I guess you got it like that. Now I'm only messing with you, brother. It's all good. So we got my man Cody Carter over here, the #1 car salesman in the world, who made over $1.1 million last year selling cars on the showroom floor in California. He had over 1,200 units delivered in 2022, and he's been averaging about 105 units. And what I just asked him, I said, man, what's the biggest challenge? And you said inventory. Like right now, can you tell everybody today is the 8th, and today was your first day getting inventory? Can you explain that?
Yeah, it's just crazy because normally we're used to getting, a dozen cars a day. We're a high volume store, but to see that, that we've got our first 20 cars on the 8th, right? It's been a struggle for us. Keeping that inventory at around 10 units in stock it's not what we're used to. I know everyone struggled with inventory. Some stores are really low. But we were used to rolling in that 60 to 70 unit area. So we're starting to see, kind of like I had mentioned to my wife, like pre-COVID or during COVID, we had seen those big, pre-sale numbers. So I have more pre-sold units than I did during normal COVID time, just because there was nothing in stock. So it's getting back to that for Toyota.
Man, that's strong as hell. So Corey, if you could take your mic off, I want you to be able to meet, Cody Carter, and, put your video camera on so we could see you in the group. And then just kind of if you've got questions, or if you want me to freestyle for a little bit while you get situated, I'll let you sit down and then just take your mic off and just jump in the conversation. Okay. So
no problem.
All right, good. So sit down. Don't have the solar glare on your forehead or my eyes. You know what I mean? When you sit down. So Cody, back to you. What has been working though in selling cars? Again, I know that Corey's going to probably ask you a bunch of questions, which is what we set this up for. But until he gets situated, talk to me, brother. What has been your go-to? How are you? Obviously the inventory has been a little bit of a challenge, but how have you been creating this machine to be able to generate so many opportunities? Is it your website still? What's your big key to your success?
The website's always is big key for even just for timing, right? Because with the volume that I'm doing, there needs to be a very set process in line. But one of the things I always talk about is those Facebook groups or the Facebook pages, right, for your brand. And one of them just recently, for example, we just launched the 24 Grand Highlander. And so there's a 24 Grand Highlander group, and I posted that, we have one of the largest inventories available when it comes to Grand Highlander. And so far in the last month, they have 25 sold Grand Highlanders in transit, right? So it just kind of shows even you don't have to be super established in a long-term group, right? Just over the last 30 days, the amount of pre-sold Grand Highlanders, that's a great number, especially at, they're $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 deals each, that pays a lot in with very little effort.
All right, so let me make sure that I'm understanding this. All right, because again, I just want to make sure that I'm on the exact page here. If I'm understanding you correctly, one of your keys to success is 100%. Like using these groups, right? These Facebook groups. So for example, you just said that there's a 2024 Grand Highlander group. Now, so either if you're a Toyota salesperson, try to find 2024 Grand Highlander groups. And if there isn't one in your geographical area, whether you're in Alabama, you're in California, or you're in Chicago, then you should start your own group because again, chances are people are going to be searching through Facebook or what have you, and they're going to find your group. So is that what you're saying? Either join a group, and if the one doesn't exist, start your own group because it's free. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, you definitely can start your own group, but like, for example, this group is national, and it's so easy, especially like you mentioned for your area, right? Because there's people in there posting every single day, like, oh, I'm in New York, or I'm in this state and I'm looking for this. They're just shouting out for people to help them and find them. So, it's easy. It's not that hard. As long as you're straightforward, I give them answers. And there's people all the time, like, they just say, wow, it's great to have somebody that can at least answer my questions, because they're tired of just, I don't know, or I'll get back to you, never getting back to them. To be able to give them a response right away, you gain a lot of trust. And I'm already seeing people tagging me on a regular basis. Just talk to Cody. He'll help you out.
All right. So before I turn over to, Corey over here, I want to emphasize this because this is something that has made Cody Carter so successful, is that he's in a ton of groups. He's in Toyota groups, he's in Tacoma groups, he's in Tundra groups, he's in 2024 Grand Highlander groups, he's in leasing groups, he's in automotive buy sell groups, he's in a ton of groups on Facebook and LinkedIn, etc. So that's a pro tip. Now it looks like Corey is joining us. The truck's not moving all over the place. So Corey, say hello to Mr. Cody Carter.
What's going on, Cody? How you doing?
Hey, man, it's nice to see you. I love Toyota too. So I'm like, it's kind of cool to talk to another Toyota guy.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So listen, Corey, jump in. I know you know who Cody Carter is. What questions do you have for him?
Yeah, I actually, that's why I was getting a list. I didn't want to move, but I had a little sheet that I wrote a couple questions down. So yeah, I've listened to the podcast that you've done with Cody in the past, and he got my attention when he said he created his own website. So I think I was telling you in the past when we spoke to Sean that I kind of try to do something similar. I reached out to Cody on Facebook too. I don't know if he remembers or recalls, but yeah, first question I had was just, I know you mentioned the Facebook groups and forums. I wanted to see what are some other organic strategies you've used to get people to submit a lead on your website. I wanted to start with something like that.
Well, yeah, just like on the Facebook groups, anytime I comment, I also drop my website link, right? Because it'll drive traffic, because people are like, what is this link? And especially since it says Cody's Tustin Toyota, right? Kind of throws off a special vibe.
Cody, can you share your screen? Because we're in the Millionaire Car Salesman group. And here's what's going to happen. As I'm talking, Cody is going to go to his Facebook. He's going to show one of the groups, and then he could actually demonstrate live how he takes it. So follow me on this. You got to understand, Corey, and for our audience listening to this, he has his own website. He has his own inventory on the website. So when he cuts and paste a link from his website, it's not the dealership's website. It's his VDP. It's his vehicle display page. It's his inventory listing. So when he drops it into Facebook, so this is his website. So this is Cody, Tustin Toyota. So this is cody.tustintoyota.com. He's going to go to Facebook right now, right?
Let me log in to my website first, and then that way we can actually play with it. Give me a second.
All right, cool. This is exciting.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, while we're waiting, Dealer Synergy is an award-winning training, consulting, CRM, recruiting, and accountability firm. We are a 13-time Dealer Choice Award winner. We have proudly served automotive dealers for 20 years and have trained over 150,000 automotive sales professionals. We've worked with over 3,700 rooftops across the country, not including our global clients in Canada, Russia, the Dominican Republic, and more. We are the most sought-after subject matter experts and pioneers of the automotive industry. Our executive team has a combined 75-plus years of automotive industry expertise at the highest level. We've literally taken dealerships from having challenges and problems, some even on the brink of bankruptcy, to becoming national success stories.
Dealer Synergy had really helped build something from the ground up. You guys have made me fall in love with what I've always loved to do. I give credit to Dealer Synergy.
I just hired 8 people, and Dealer Synergy HR really was critical in me being able to do it.
You provided the training, you helped us with our CRM. You provided a solution for a lot of things that I was looking for. Our people loved LA, what Karen has done for me personally. Franca, her communication back and forth. You've got a really solid group of people.
Having somebody like Sean and his company that knows automotive, so the marriage between what knowledge he possesses and the fact that he has this great video production staff, it gives you the best of both worlds. So I would certainly recommend them.
Sean comes in the dealership and he advanced us light years ahead of our competition.
Just an absolute leading edge training company.
Go to BradleyOnDemand.com and give your team access to the best automotive training in the world.
So we'll get here first. So on my website, right, I've shown it prior, but yeah, Cody's Testing Toyota, the Express store here, what allows them to select a vehicle and go through the entire process. A second here. Am I glitching? Looks like I am. Okay, so now we'll go to Facebook here. Let's log into Facebook. So for example, on 2024, you see all the different groups I'm in here.
Yeah.
But you'll see as it slowly takes some time here. There we go. Okay, so there's 2024 group. The group, let's see how many, I don't know, so tell me how many members we got in this one. There's 8,200 people in this group alone, right? It's only been out for a few months. So you'll see, like, when that Grand Highlander hasn't been out for a long time, so I was able to post pictures of a car, which eventually was selling on our, I sold it through this page as well. And it's just good to be able to show.
Go back. So that's important. Literally what you did, let's read the post out loud. What did you type?
Hopefully it's okay to post because this is my first post, right? You never want to upset the moderator, but this particular car is priced at MSRP. We don't do any dealer ads. Pickup is in Tustin because that's the requirement. They want to know where you can pick it up. My cell phone number, the hyperlink to the vehicle itself and what model it was. And eventually I updated it that it was sold.
So so literally all you did was put a couple pictures and then you were even nice and you had a disclaimer. Hopefully this is okay to post. You put the pickup location, you put it priced at MSRP. There's no hidden fees, no dealer ads on it. And then you also put the inventory link. Can you click that URL? I want to see.
So the link's going to be dead now.
Okay, but still, yeah. So the link is going to be dead, but it took it to here. Okay. So this was because you sold the vehicle. That's why it's dead. Yeah. Okay.
Once we report them sold, the link will disappear.
Now let's go back to the group go back to that post. But here's the punchline. If I'm understanding this simple post, you're freaking telling me you sold this damn car in this group just from this post?
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of, you see too, 33 comments. A lot of them were people just looking for other cars. Right. So I was able to reach out to them. And look at this guy was mad that another dealer quoted him 9,500 over, but but
they were. I don't mean any disrespect, but you're going to be fucking stupid. Do you understand me? If you are not taking advantage of these groups, Sean, that's not polite. Listen, come on, man. This guy just showed us how he's in a free group that he doesn't even own. And all he did, how long did it literally take you to put that post together? How many minutes?
Just a minute, if at max. When you look at it too, so you look at these names on the people that are in here, like this guy here's got a pre-order with me. This guy as well has a pre-order with me.
Jesus Christ. Okay, but wait a minute. So no, but this you're giving game, bro. This is
Free
I
game.
don't see this shit at these conferences. This is it right here. So you are in these groups. Now be honest, how long did it take from the moment you posted it to you sold this vehicle?
Like maybe an hour or so. It sold really
Get the
fast.
fuck out of here. So, bro, I would never take it up again in my life. I'm telling you that right now. I'm sorry, sales managers. I'm sorry, GSMs. I would never take a goddamn up ever again. I would just sit down with 4 fucking screens like I'm a stockbroker, and I would have a swivel chair, and I would be just posting shit all over the place. I would be cut and pasting, brah, brah, brah.
Yeah.
And that's not no drill rap. That's me posting on Facebook groups right there.
Exactly. So you'll see like in this one, for example, like trying to get about pre-sale units, right? So it's posting dealer daily, our internal system, just showing like, I have all of these available. Most people don't understand what, the specs are, which is fine, but it just, now they start asking questions about them. And I got, another 30 comments on that as well. So it's easy. These are all within a 9-day span.
I'm going to tell you this right now. If you are listening to this through not yet, but this is pre-recorded, but when we drop this on the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast, on the audio podcast, you're not seeing, because it's audio, right? You're not seeing that Cody has his screen being shared right now. He's literally going through these posts and he's showing you. Corey, when you're seeing this and you're hearing Cody say this, how is your mind spinning right now, brother?
I'm thinking, well, my mind is spinning, definitely. I'm thinking, for me I definitely got to do something like this. I should have done it. I should have definitely did something like this already.
It's okay. So
crazy.
Cody, if I'm being specific, let's go Forrest Gump. Like if you're teaching a Facebook course, I don't know, because you have a course, right, brother? This is going to go in your Cody Carter stuff. So we're going to pull this back and say, okay, here's what the title of this podcast is: how to sell cars like Cody Carter. Okay. How to sell cars, how to sell like Cody. And one of the number one things that we're starting with today is by leveraging Facebook groups. Okay. So step 1 is that you need to have a Facebook page. You can't join a Facebook group without having a Facebook page. Okay. And so you were saying, if I'm hearing you correctly, Cody, that they should go through their OEM first, right? So go through your whole entire line, go through your Toyota groups, go through each of the models within the Toyota, lineup, then maybe Toyota pre-owned, Toyota new, maybe Toyota certified pre-owned. Can you give some other ideas on the OEM?
Yeah. So like, for example, there's the big one is, again, depends on your store, right? Like there's a no markup for pretty much every brand on Facebook as well. No markup Toyota has like 30,000 members. And not that we're not a store that charges everything at MSRP. There's plenty of vehicles that we, sell that are over MSRP, but on that page from particular cars that we would sell at or below MSRP, I'll post them in that group. I'm currently banned from no markup Toyota just because we were too successful, but that's a group that has a ton of people. They're all over the country. And depending on your dealer group, like if you're allowed to sell out of state, I got a buddy in Texas that's selling all over, the East Coast. He's killing it.
All right. So now why are you banned from the no markup? Because they're just haters?
I believe so. It's run by another Toyota group guy, but I reached out to him just saying, hey, I don't know, can't find the page anymore. And I just sent him like a personal message. Hey, I don't know what I did. Can you elaborate? And he blocked me. So I'm like, I was like, hey, if only I knew what I did wrong, maybe we could fix it. But I don't even know what I did. So
no, it's probably a Toyota salesperson or Toyota manager, and you're just getting too much. You're selling too many things out of his group. That's like, and I'll be honest with you, like that's what happens. And like for me, in my Millionaire Car Salesman group, there's no other trainers there. I would be salty if one of these other trainers, especially if they're not as good as me, is, and that's what you got to think, right? Like again, you're outshining the master of that group. I mean, like that's pretty sad. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But I love the pro tips that you're saying here. Start with the manufacturers. Now, do you, before we get into the financing and leasing, but are there any other like local groups for like in Tustin, California, or the surrounding areas for just car sales or for used cars? Can you give some ideas of what other groups to join?
Yes, I don't know what they call them in your area, but like they call them the Buzz in our area. So like for every city, it's like Tustin Buzz and Yorba Linda Buzz, right? That's where all the people go and chat. And so this was just last week. I woke up in the morning and I checked my phone like I do before I get out of bed, and I had a bunch of comments on the Yorba Linda Buzz. I was like, oh great, what do we got here? And it was a gal that had posted like, hey, I'm looking I've decided I want a Toyota and I'm looking for a good Toyota salesperson, right? And then it was just bunch of people tagging me, right? And then I saw one of my friends from my store got tagged, and a friend from another store got tagged, right? So there was a lot of tags going on there. And a few days later, she called me and she said, "Hey, I don't know if you just asked all your friends to go on here." Well, I'm like, "No, I don't ask anybody to do that. I'm pretty popular and I live in the city of Yorba Linda." Right. So, and from there, I sent her this, she said, "I'm looking for this." And I was like, "Well, let me help you, guide you along." I sent her pictures of the car, and the next day she was here buying it in cash, paid a little over MSRP. So it was a good deal for both of us. And just yesterday, she sent her friend to buy the same type of car. So that'll probably be a deal in the next few days.
So that's another Facebook group, but that's not even a Toyota group. That was your, like, the local buzz group.
Yeah, it's local for the city that I live in. Yeah.
All right. So I don't think they call it on the East Coast by me, like in Medford Buzz. I live in Medford, New Jersey. So, but there's definitely a Medford Facebook group that my wife lives off of. Can you think of, and here's a couple other ideas too. I know that Toyota isn't as popular as Honda for like the Fast and the Furious for like aftermarket cars, but you do have obviously the Supra and things like that. I got to tell you that I know some people that are into tuners, like, intakes, exhaust, and you could go into those group for modifications, and you could definitely represent. Can you give some vehicles besides the Supra that might be
GR Corolla, right? So that's going to be our hot hatch. We have that. We have GR86. Yeah. So we have both of those.
See, so think about that. Now, here's another one. Let's go into, so that's a whole nother segment of group right there, is the aftermarket, not just basic aftermarket, but the Fast and Furious type tuner type cars, right? The crotch rocket, like, I know it's not a motorcycle, but I'm saying like that type of vibe, those type of people. Then you have off-roading. So let's just go through, like, what type of Toyotas do you think would be good for, four-wheeling or like, off-roading? Can you name some?
We're already seeing the launch of Land Cruiser groups for the new Land Cruiser that was announced just last week. So
you're twitching. Are you an AI? Do you see that, Corey?
I see it. I'm looking at it.
I think it's because I'm using the data from my phone, because my store's Wi-Fi is horrendous. So.
Oh my God, that's what it is. Yeah. Cody's not real. Cody's AI.
Well, I've had a couple.
It just happened. Yeah, Corey, you see that? This is
I watched the glitch.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? That was crazy.
I did have. It's funny when you say Cody's not real. I had somebody ask me the other day, and I was at home, and he was like, "Oh, my wife sent me to you." And he's like, "How do I know you work for the store?" And I just said, just Google me, right? Because I'm like, there's enough info on me out there now that you can just Google who I am. He's like, oh, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "I am real, I promise." I think it happened when I went to go display my site.
So you're back. All right. So to go into this, what were the vehicles that you guys suggest for like off-roading or four-wheeling?
So we have the new 24 Tacoma, right? Mm-hmm. That's coming out in January. We have the 2025 Land Cruiser that's coming back. It was just announced last week. And then, there's plenty in the Tundra group. There's a AZ off-road Tundra, because I used to work in the AZ
runners.
Here, yeah, exactly. Sure. 4Runners. Here's like Land Cruisers, you know what I mean? And then here's another category, EVs. EVs are huge right now with electric vehicles. And, Cody, I've been at your dealership before, and not just EVs, but alternative type of vehicles. You had a hydrogen car, you have all sorts of crazy shit, being in California. And so there's all of that stuff. Then let's kind of go into trucks. Okay, so just like pickup trucks and things like that. Then here's a whole totally other one. Then there's there's groups about, just selling your vehicle for acquisition. Like, hey, if you want to sell your vehicle, like not just marketplace, but there's groups that if people want to sell their vehicle, not buy their vehicles. And we know in the automotive industry that being vigilant, like the CarMax strategy of people that want to sell their vehicle, they might be a candidate for what? For a new vehicle or a newer vehicle.
Yeah, definitely. I've watched one of your podcasts about the Chat GPT stuff, so I've used a lot of that in some of my templates to try to buy cars back with the concept of what are you going to do once I buy your car back, right?
Yes. So talk about that, Cody, real quick.
So, I've used a lot of the Chat GPT, especially GPT-4 for writing these templates, because some of the templates, it'll blow your mind how fast it'll write one for you. I recently did it for some after sale emails where, like, for the electric car, the BZ, where I just typed in like, hey, we're after sale follow-up template for the BZ4X. I want the customers to get all the information that they may need, after the sale. Right. And I just hit send, and it writes me a template. It put in, hey, you might want to look into applying for this rebate for the state of California. This is the digital manual for your car. Then it had check out the PlugShare app and the EV Go app and all these. It did all this. That's an hour plus worth of work, and I might not have even written it as good, right? It wrote this thing in seconds, and then I said, take the same thing and do it for the Mirai, and it does it. It's amazing.
So that's the second thing that I'm learning from you, Cody. You were working smart. Not that you're not working hard, but you're working smarter than most automotive professionals, because you were, instead of taking up after up after up, you're just making a post. And that one post, not only did you sell the car within an hour, you got a bunch of other prospects, other leads, and other orders. So it's like it's not like hitting two birds with one stone. It's like killing 27 birds with one stone, metaphorically speaking. And now I hear you saying, thank you for giving us some props, that you listened to our podcast about what L.A. Williams about Chat GPT and AI. And so you're also saying to streamline this process and make this faster, not only faster, but way better, and you don't have to think about it and ponder and procrastinate. You're just dropping these into Chat, GPT or the next version of Chat GPT and GPT-4, what have you. And it's actually providing you the ability to streamline your efforts and maximize opportunities. Let's throw it back to my man, Corey over here. Corey, do you have any other questions as it relates to these groups?
Yes, I actually did. I wanted to ask Cody. So I know when I heard in the other podcast, you said you try to have everybody go through the website to submit information. So when you're submitting, when you're making a post in the group, I see you put a link to a vehicle, I guess it's on the website, but you also gave them your phone number. So are you still directing everyone straight to the website, or are you taking different forms of inquiries?
So it depends, right? When it comes to when I'm new to the group, right? It's, I'm going to give them more time than I normally would, right? I'm going to walk them through what I do have and don't have. But on those cars too, I will push them to the website, because all of my inventory, even pre-built inventory, is on there. So they can see them. And in those particular cars, I'm not charging a markup, so it's okay. But every once in a while, I'll send them the link and they look at something else like, oh, we're charging a markup over here. I'm like, you're right. But it's very transparent that this car's got a markup and this one doesn't. But it allows them to go through, and then it's a safer way for them to input their information, right? Because it's a secure site for their credit application. They upload their driver's license, insurance. I can keep track of our conversations there. So it's just an easy way a form of communication to streamline everything.
So would you say you're still getting about 25 to 30 new inquiries a day? Is that still like?
Oh yeah, I'm getting. There's 20 plus new hits a day. It's funny watching the reports. Even the guys still like, doesn't make sense because you spend zero in marketing. I'm like, you're right. I spend $0 in marketing, and it's out there everywhere. And it's I still get people who, oh, let me help you do it. And I was like, I think we're doing okay the way where we are.
So again, but this is not because it's magic, because we've talked about this numerous times on the show and in your course, Sell Like Cody. We've talked about the fact that, you started this whole thing came from your leasing skills, and how you created a spreadsheet that was this gargantuan spreadsheet. Can you go through that just briefly again? Like, how long did it take you to create the spreadsheet? What the hell does a spreadsheet do? And why were people asking for the spreadsheet? How did you send it out? And then, that's how you decided, man, I need to get a website.
Yeah. So a long time ago, gosh, it's got to be 5+ years ago now. I was on a different website, Lease Hacker. So it's forum.leasehacker.com. And I created a topic, happened to be my birthday, and I posted that I wanted to help people in my area. And they want proof of whatever your deal is going to show that you have value, right? So I posted a bunch of deals, which was against Toyota policy, just because based on pricing back then. As you know, there's strikes for Toyota. A lot of Toyota people know that. Normally you get one strike, you're pretty much done. I received 2 strikes and we paid a fine for the violations that we did. From there, it was, well, how many deals did you sell that month? I remember that was the first call I got from the GM. How many cars did you sell off that website? And I was like, 16. And he was like, to me, in his eyes, with the amount of trouble I was in, I thought he was just going to say, forget it. He was like, wow, okay, well, we need to find a different way to do this that you don't get in trouble, because obviously it's working. And so I started with a Google Doc, right? And I just started with some of the cars I had in stock. And as months grew, I started adding pretty much every model and different scenarios and things like that. And we called it the link. And everyone had to request the link. So they would either send me a message online on Google through email or through the website that I was playing on. They would text me sometimes. I have no idea what this link is, but my friend told me to text you and get the link. Right. And it kind of became this like secret underground thing. And I changed the link every 2 months. So you'd have to request a new one to keep the other dealers off my back. Right. And eventually it just became overwhelming because it was I'm getting hundreds and hundreds of messages asking for this. So I was like, well, let's build a website. So I wrote down everything that I wanted my website to do. And I said, I have no idea who's going to build this site. And one day I got a credit application from a customer. He's a web designer. So at the end of selling him this vehicle, I said, hey, by the way, I want your help. And he just said, well, how much do you really think this is going to cost? I think he thought it was going to be more than I was willing to spend. And I said, if I can get it done for 15 grand, I'm in. And he goes, okay, good. Well, it's only going to cost 10 grand. So that was the launch of that website. That was retrackauto.com. It was very, very successful up until about 2-3 years ago. Toyota just said it was too successful, and they used ad covenant saying that no dealer can have 2 websites, and they maybe shut it. And that's when now it redirects to my latest one, which is cody.tustintoyota.com.
Yeah, which is just haterade all over the place. All right.
They said I was in Mexico with Toyota 2 months ago, and my rep had said, yeah, you were getting calls from dealers 250 miles away filing complaints against you.
It just blows my mind. But you know what I'm noticing, Cody, and something that we haven't talked about before, right? But correct me if I'm wrong. It's like, and Corey, this is the coaching tip to you. If you go to Philadelphia and you heard of Geno's or Pat's steaks, cheesesteaks, people line up around the block because it's got this cult-like status. Like it's the best cheesesteaks in all Philadelphia. Junior's in Brooklyn, the best cheese cakes, right? And then, there might be deep dish, like pizza from Chicago deep dish pizza. And every area has something that they're great at or they're famous for. And Cody, we've never talked about it in all the times that we've been working together, but what I feel is that you created this buzz, like you said, with this link, because you were the car guy that was able to create special pricing. That's what this whole thing was about. You were leveraging leasing like nobody else was to be able to get things done at a price nobody else was able to do. And you're still able to do that. So you first developed a unique value package proposition. You created something different and special, and then you created this buzz for this shit. And then from there, you just basically developed software and technology to make it more pretty, to make it more professional, make it easier and more manageable. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, definitely manageable for me, easier for the customer. Sometimes it's so easy, they're kind of get nervous, right? I'm like, but no, I promise this is the process, and I'll get you through it and you're going to love it. In-store processes now will get you in and out in 20 to 30 minutes. So it's very, very nice for us.
In another way of saying this too, like I'm just, because I've been working with you for so long, I want to give different perspectives. Another way of saying this, you're like the Netflix to Blockbuster of car sales. You're like the Uber to the yellow cab of car sales. You're like the Amazon compared to the Macy's and Sears of car sales, where every other freaking salesperson, including my man Corey over here, is doing shit Blockbuster style or Macy's style. You know what I mean? You're a disruptor. You're doing shit differently than everybody else. And that's why you're murdering this, because while everybody else is taking 30 minutes to cook fucking minute rice, you're cooking minute rice in 30 seconds.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, that kind of like that drive of the special deals that no one can get a hold of. It's hilarious. And it's been a few years because we haven't had something that like crazy out there, but there was deals that I had posted because I would sit there and I look at the residual sheets, which most people don't look at. And you find a deal in there that nobody else is going to find. And there was stores that took them months to replicate, what I was doing. They couldn't figure it out until somebody finally gave them a contract of what I had done. And, and I crushed it, for 2 months, nobody could touch me on X car. And that's something by spending the time and looking at the numbers that even your most desk guys don't do, you'll find deals.
Can you give example, because Corey is a Toyota guy? So can you give something recently in this economy? What's one of the, even in the last 6 months, what's something that you murdered and like that you did that nobody else could do?
Like, for example, on Grand Highlander, right? Well, if someone's looking to lease one in my area, if you sell it at MSRP and I sell it at MSRP, my payment's $100 less, right? There was no comparison.
Well, let's play. Corey, how much would a Grand Highlander lease be by you right now?
Oh, in our area at MSRP, I mean, I'll probably just say first payment, you're probably like around 7, maybe even close to 800. That's normally what we're quoting them at.
Yeah. So I can sell a Grand Highlander at MSRP for less than I can sell a regular Highlander at invoice. So it's an easy push to put them in a nicer car.
Okay. So wait a minute. Let's repeat this for the people listening. So you're able to lease a Grand Highlander at full MSRP, but it's going to be a cheaper payment than a regular Highlander at invoice.
Correct.
Corey, how gangster is that right there?
Yeah, that's raw.
Yeah,
okay.
So it's an easy push.
Okay, but that's easy from. So Corey, you got to understand, like, what part of the country are you in?
I'm in Florida.
Okay, you're horrible. Florida is notoriously horrible for leasing. Okay, right. So again, I would assume that. Okay, so again, so Cody, how do you coach Corey and say, okay, because first of all, down south, they make all the excuses. Oh, people don't lease over here. People don't prefer leasing, boom, 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 or they think that Toyota manufacturers got the best leases. So now you're speaking to your counterpart because he wants to be, no offense, brother, but you want to be Corey. Corey wants to be Cody when he grows up, in professionally speaking. He wants to have your business type model. What can you tell youngin over here, the reality check?
Well, the first time when it comes to leasing, like I worked in a market that was anti-lease too. I worked in Northern Arizona. Everything is super far apart, right? But once you become educated on how leases work, you can structure it accordingly to the customer themselves, right? We showed a lease to every customer, no matter how many times they said, no, we don't want to look at it, right? That's one thing to know is if you don't show it, you're never going to get it, right? In addition to that, you are in a unique area. You have Southeast Toyota. They're probably the worst when it comes to leasing. Right. But there's so many other companies out there that are way more competitive. You got Ally Financial, which we work with. We have US Bank that we work with as well. CULA, Credit Union, Leasing America. So they all have programs and they want to beat regular Toyota. So if they're beating a regular Toyota, they're definitely beating your area, which makes
I got a question. Because our dealer works with, like, let's just say you said Ally, right? We work with Ally. We do a bunch of finance deals. But we're not leasing new cars through Ally. So how would you recommend doing that?
One, you have to get, there's an addendum to your agreement with the bank to offer leasing, right? So then you'll get access to their lease program. You'll be able to submit leases. And then your rep will constantly email you, right? He emails me sheets all the time of how we're winning. We win against Toyota and here's how we win. So you'll get those so you can even know what the hit cars are. So you don't even have to do the research because the bank's already doing it for you and telling you, send me these cars and you can send the rest to Toyota, right? So they do the work for you. But first, you just got to get signed with them. And I can help you get a rep in your area.
Well, first of all, I think it's a step before that. I think that, and it's hard for a salesperson to get, the GSM or the general manager or the dealer owner or the corporate director to pay attention. So what I would say is this. So I'm just talking to you from the training side of things here. Here's what I would do. I would go to your immediate supervisor above the sales manager. So if it's the GSM or the GM or the dealer, what you don't want to do is you don't want to skip the GSM and GM and go right to the dealer, because I would be offended if I was the GSM or if I was the GM. So follow chain of command. If I were you, I would go first to the GSM or GM and say, hey man, listen, as you know, I'm investing my own training, with Dealer Synergy and Brother Demand, and we just hooked up with the #1 car salesman in the world, and by far the #1 Toyota salesperson, who in the middle of a pandemic, he's been selling 105 units a month. He had a top month of 154 cars in 1 month, and this is what he's doing, and look, he has, how long have you been at Toyota for, at this dealership? Because in California, you haven't even been there that long.
So I've been just over 7 years now. So I've been with Toyota 11.
And then, but when did you break from when you first got there to breaking over 100 units? How many years did that take?
It was 2.5 years
So
max.
listen, he came from Arizona. Okay. So here's the thing is that he came from a completely different market, different culture, different reality in Arizona. And within 2 years, he went from selling 0 cars to breaking over 100. So the dealer and the GSM and the GM, everybody's going to give you excuses like, oh, that's not going to work here, or we know better, or, yeah, we don't use Ally for that shit, or nobody wants to lease. And they're going to tell you all this stuff. That's exactly what Blockbuster said. We don't need to buy Netflix. Now, where's Blockbuster? That's exactly what, all these other companies that are not benefiting from the real movers and shakers and influencers are. So I would say, look, have them watch this. Bring them to the Millionaire Car Salesman group. This is live streamed in there. So have them watch this over. It's going to be less than 50 minutes. It'll probably like 45 minutes long. Let them watch this shit and say, wow, that's crazy. Look at what he's doing with these Facebook groups. Show them the website. Cody, bring up your website again, share your screen, and go to the front end of the website and kind of explain how this website works again. So what's the URL now? Now that Toyota made you change it.
It's cody.tustintoyota.com.
So cody.tustintoyota.com. This is his website. It looks like it's the dealership's website, and they kind of gacked it because of Toyota OEM, but don't make any mistake about it. Cody spent a total of $15,000, $10,000 the first time, $5,000 for the other. And then he's got other companies like Roadster or whatever that's also adding technology on here. So there's probably over $20,000 at least in technology. $15,000 Cody paid, the other $5,000+ these other vendors kind of just, gifted him because he's like, they gave him Jordans because he's freaking Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? They gave him some Nikes.
Yeah, it was definitely Roadster. They didn't know how to respond. We said, we need 2 Roadsters. We need one for the dealer and we need one for Cody. And they're like, we've never done that before. I'm like, well, we're going to do it this time. So
yes, exactly. And how much has Roadster helped you on your own website?
So they've helped me a lot. There's some stuff that you'll learn, like, because they're so big that there's not the flexibility that I want. Right. But they do help me. They get on, I have all these guys' personal numbers and I call them second something's not right. And then they're on it. But it's made it easier for me because I save myself 8 hours minimum by not having to load the site manually, right, as we were doing in the past. And the fact that it chooses the best program based on the term on its own. So like this one's through the credit union, for example, but if I move it to like say 24 months, it may or may not, it still says it's the same. But it'll tell you based on, it does all of this intelligently on its own. And the fact that it knows that this is an inbound car on its own that someone can reserve, I didn't have to do any of this. It's doing it all on its own using technology.
This is crazy. So he's got one of the best websites I've seen from a dealership. So Cody, I'm sure you've heard this before, not just from me, but from other people. Your personal website that you built is better than most freaking multi-million or multi-billion-dollar car dealerships full websites. True or false?
True. That's why they shut me down the first time.
So Corey, think about that. A salesperson invented the best mousetrap and created one of the most incredible websites to generate leads. And understand one of the secrets, it's not really a secret, it's one of the realities of his website is you cannot access any information on his website unless you put your contact information. That is counterintuitive compared to what everybody does. No manufacturer does that. No dealership does that. What they want you to do is just have access and hits and hope that you'll call them, hope that you submit a lead. So Cody, explain it. You're not doing that just for strategy. You're doing that to be legally compliant with Toyota OEM. So explain what that rule is, why it's there, and how you kind of create the part where they have to submit. So log out and show them what the public sees.
Let's see if
so you're going to go to cody.tustintoyota.com. So when you go to cody.tustintoyota.com, you're going to go to what looks like an OEM website, but nothing on the website. They won't give you any information at all until you log into the website. So watch this, Corey.
Let me see. Give me just a second. With my dealer account, sometimes it's weird.
Here, stop sharing. I'll go to your website right now. It's even easier. Okay, so watch. If I go, that's perfect because you're starting to tweak out anyway.
Glitching.
Right? You're glitching. Your AI is kicking in. Like Elon Musk is getting to you. All right, so if we go to Cody.Tustin Toyota. So watch. I'm on the website right here, and It's going to say watch video.
Welcome to Express Car Buying. With our Express store, you can search inventory online and get our pricing upfront. Select payment options, get a firm trade offer, and add service and protection plans. Complete your entire purchase from home in a matter of minutes. Then pick your car up at the dealership or have it delivered to you. It's that easy.
Is that just a standard Roadster video?
So it's a standard Roadster video. Again, there's
He's got his
limited
name in there.
flexibility.
Right. Yeah. They
So,
must have labeled
He doesn't even
labeled it,
have
right?
to. If it, these are just little details. If it was me, I would have customized you your own. I would have my Cody Carter one in there. I would have used something like that. But again, this is just a standard Roadster video. But again, the average the average prospect doesn't know that this is a generic video. It looks super professional, super polished because it's made for dealerships, not salespeople.
Right.
Now when we go in, it says, how does it work? Okay, buy your new car online, shop all models. Okay, I'm going to go shop some models. Look, unlock savings. Please confirm you're not a robot by verifying your email address and phone number. We will send you a confirmation text and email with a personal code to unlock. You know how gangster this is? You cannot access anything on here. Look, unlock savings. It's going to show you the MSRP, but watch, anytime I click anything, it's going to force me to do this. So now this is why this guy freaking generates 300 leads a month, because people want to see the savings. You see what I'm saying? That's the psychology stuff here. It's like, let me go online to get my Groupon. Let me go online to get my digital coupon. Let me go online to get my savings. Okay. We're conditioned on this. This is special pricing. This is not open to the public. So Cody, explain the legal aspect in Toyota's ad covenant and why you have to do this and how that worked for your favor.
Yeah, so originally ad covenant came out as part of the fact that there was dealers advertising things that were not accurate, right? They were stacking every rebate that you could, and then when you got in, like, oh, sorry, you don't qualify for those $5,000 in rebates. So ad covenant came along for that regard. And then the dealers worked in the fact that you can't price cars below invoice publicly. So I can't tell you if there's a car that I'm going to sell below invoice. I can't tell you that. I need to collect your information and have that that basically one-to-one communication, so that I could reach out to you and send you the price. So that's where it came about. So it's forced it across the board to just be that, if you want to see the price, I need to get your information. And when it comes to me, sometimes customers will text me, well, I don't want to create a login. And I'm like, well, I can do it manually, but it's probably going to cost you a little bit more for the time that's going to do it. I'm like, or you can log in and I can promise that it's going to be worth your time. And, we're not here to harass you with the purchase of this car, because the follow-up is going to be my computer, Amanda. She emails you to touch base with you, but that's minimal, bothersome. That way, a lot of my customers check it regularly, even if they're not willing to buy a car yet. They're looking for their brother and their sister and everyone.
Okay, brother. So, Corey, do you have any other questions so far in this? Because I got some more stuff I want to talk to, Cody about, but I want to give you some time to ask some questions.
No, that part was pretty clear. I had a question about the inquiry, but covered that. So, no, keep going. Good listening.
All right. So now, Cody, I'm gonna share my screen, and then I'm gonna bring up, Bradley and the Man, because you are part of our Bradley and the Man platform. And so, guys, everything that you're hearing right now is in here. Cody and I have spent a tremendous amount of time. I want to kind of just demo this because it's nuts. So we have right over here, he has his own portal, but he's still, it's like 90% done. But understand, so we've got introduction in here.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me on the Sell Like Cody platform. I'm Cody Carter. I'm going to be your trainer for everything automotive sales related. I sell over 100 cars a month, and you can as well. Let me set proper expectations. This program here is going to help you sell cars. Lots and lots of cars. From the road to the—
So then he's going to go again about Cody Carter, things to know when you're starting your career, crash course on Car Sales 101, part 1, part 2. The grass isn't greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. Then it's like think like Cody. So this is giving you his mindset. So we've got think like Cody, act like Cody. These are the things that Cody does or doesn't do at the dealership. Brand like Cody, all like his marketing strategies, his selling strategies. his branding to be able to create those opportunities. Then Sell Like Cody, man, introduction to Sell Like Cody, the road to the sale. We literally, I flew to California and we shot the entire road to the sale, from A to Z at his dealership at Tustin Toyota, using his dealership like a Hollywood studio. So we've got the complete road to the sale. We've got objections and rebuttals, from Cody Carter. And then we even have, he's building out more trial closes and closes. And then we talked about his leasing strategy. Look at this right here. We have a ton of content. Is leasing viable in the current economy? The value of leasing and pull ahead programs, how putting customers in a lease makes their situation more advantageous. Understanding grossing in relation to money factor, explaining residual. Are there better leasing programs than what the manufacturer offers? Developing relationships with the banks and reps as a salesperson. The first secret to benefit from leasing: payments are too high. Role play. Explaining one pay lease. How small lenders can offer better leasing programs than the OEM. I don't want to lease because I drive too many miles. Role play. Dispelling the stigma behind leasing. I would rather own the vehicle. Why having multiple rebuttals for the same objection on leasing? How the inventory crisis changed when lease retention begins. Lease retention follow-up, protocol step 1. Lease retention follow-up protocol step 2. Lease retention protocol step 3 and 4. Lease buyout scenarios and challenges imposed by manufacturers. Skills required to be great at leasing. So again, there are hours and hours of content from this guy. So Cody, where are you at right now? You're not on some undisclosed location. You're really not an AI. You're a real person. Where are you at physically right now?
I'm here at the dealer. It's one of the days I'm here on my own, and so I'm here located in Tustin, California.
Now put into this, category, like just literally last year alone, you had said that you had generated what was it, like almost $5 million in gross, and you made over $1 million in personal income. That's in 1 year. So in your entire career, you've made literally tens of millions of dollars in personal income selling cars. Is that correct?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so now, but the amount of income you're making, let me just say this to the Americans that are listening to this, and even people for overseas for that matter, but folks, most millionaires do not make over $1 million a year. He just made over $1 million a year just last year alone, you know what I mean? So you got to realize that there's people that only make a couple $100,000 a year, but they know how to invest it and not buy dumb shit like rims and Gucci belts and dumb stuff like that. So the money that you're making not only gives you a cool lifestyle, but you're able to take that money and, like Grant Cardone, invested in other businesses. I know that you've created businesses in buying cars. So you've bought cars from all over the country and flipped cars. You have purchased real estate, you purchased businesses. So can you just talk about a little bit, with all the fucking money that you're making, how do you invest that money besides in your own business? What type of other businesses or assets or real estate or cars do you buy to make money and flip it?
Well, yeah, the cars one is an easy one, especially for a lot of people. It doesn't take a lot of money. Like, for example, this afternoon, I have 2 Cadillac Lyrics going to show up that I had purchased. So, it's constantly going through flipping cars. It looks like we're driving extravagant cars for fun as personal use, but they're investments, really. I'm ordering cars far in the future for that reason. Like last month, for example, I drove a Rivian. I bought a Sequoia Pro. I have a Jeep 392 2024. So I have all these cars that we're buying at the right price all over the country and using that as an investment. So it takes money to make money. In addition to that, I'm in the middle of doing a project right now with a new company that's opening up with Fire Life Safety, right? So, there's a lot of stuff you can do once you come up with more money. And that I've heard it from people. They're like, oh, it takes money to make money. Must be nice that you had it. Well, when I got in the automotive industry, I rented a room for $300 a month and I drove a 98 Expedition. I had almost nothing, right? So this industry will give people the money that they need to survive, and have the cars in the house.
Yo, bro, how gangster is that? You said that you were renting a room for $300 a month, and now you're like on some, like crazy monopoly shit right now. Can you be specific? So let's just say that I'm a salesperson. I'm a millionaire car salesman, or I'm on the road to becoming a millionaire car salesman, like, Corey, from King Automotive on this Zoom with us. So let's just say that, I have extra money, right? Because of my network, because you're in all these groups, because you're developing a network of dealers and automotive professionals all over the country, you find a vehicle that you could get at a great price. And it's also, for example, like you just said it, there's Toyota dealerships. Now you can't do that because it's unethical because you're selling Toyotas, but like a Cadillac has nothing to do with you. So you could buy a Cadillac at invoice or like at MSRP and know what market will be able to sell that vehicle for 3, 4, 5 G's over sticker or whatever it is. And so that's how you're making money. Okay. But so let's say you buy the car. How do you find these deals? Let's talk about that.
So there's a lot of groups, right? That again, it comes down to groups, and some of it just is knowledge. And there's been brokers that have brought us deals and say, hey, I'll get you this deal if you pay me $500. And I was like, done, because some of those deals I paid him $500, I made 18 grand. So it's like
Jesus.
It was no big deal, right? That in that scenario, and that's even
give us an example. What that 18 grand? What car was that? What happened?
It was a Ram TRX. I bought 4 of them.
So he's not full of shit. You said I bought 4 of them. A salesperson's like, I bought. That is gangster. You're operating like a boss. When we say car sales is like owning your own business, not only are you selling 100+ cars a month for the dealership, on the side for shits and giggles, you're brokering car deals and stuff like that. So tell us about the TRX. What happened?
So yeah. It's been over that year and a half span because you had to put in the order. So I bought 4 of them, and they would come in. The best one I made was 18 grand on one. And then
so what happened? So where'd you you don't have to give
us. We bought them in Louisiana.
You bought it in Louisiana. Okay.
And we shipped them to California, where the market on these are 20, 30,000 over MSRP. And, we would wholesale them at the auction for, 10,000 over MSRP. And, or it just depended on what the market was like. Cause I made as little as 12 grand on one, it just depends. We don't want to make less than 10. If I'm buying a car, I want to make 10 grand for the time process of that. But a lot of my buddies have seen how this work, even outside the auto industry. And they don't have a ton of money. Right. And I was like, hey, let me show you how to do it. And, it only takes $1,000 deposit to make this, and that's what we were doing. And we were, to avoid some of the stuff, because the dealer wanted to collect tax, we leased them so we didn't have to pay tax because it allows our profit to be even better. So, there's a lot of scenarios. I bought cars in Kentucky. These 2 cars for the Cadillacs are coming from Indiana. We buy them all over.
So again, guys, we keep hearing that car sales is like owning your own business. And on one car that you're just doing on the side, you're making more than double, triple what the average salesperson makes in an entire month grinding on the lot, taking ups in the freaking heat, snow, like shoveling fucking snow in the winter on the East Coast, right? Or in the mountains and whatnot. So you are just flipping cars on the side for freaking a hobby, making stupid G money. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, 100%. Like I sold a Rivian last month, made 8 grand. That was a little bit lower than I wanted to, but it was good.
Yo, Corey, what are you thinking listening to this guy right here?
I didn't even know he did. I didn't even know he did that. But I think you did say your schedule. You're not working as many hours as you did in the past, so I'm sure you got time.
Yeah, tell him what's your schedule now. Tell him what time you work. You're gonna fall out.
I work 9 to 3, 5 days a week.
That's crazy. 5 days a week.
9 to 3.
9 to 3. Wow.
Yeah, off Sundays and Mondays. It's nice.
He's got off Sundays and Mondays. So he's got 2 days back to back off. I love it. Well, listen, I'm going to, Corey, give you one last opportunity to make a phone call. I ask a question because I got to jump from there. I have a phone call I got to do.
Well, I was just thinking about what you were just saying about buying cars everywhere. So you said you're leasing them in I'm assuming you're just buying them under your credit. Is that kind of how you're doing it?
Just a personal lease, if I got the credit to do it, and we're flipping them faster than the first payment even comes out. So you're
paying it off, right? It's easy.
We're paying it these TRXs. We were signing up for $1,600 payments. So I'm like, we know we can't even make the first payment because as soon as I got it, we would sell them and we would pay them off immediately. So it was done. One of the wholesalers would float the money because he'd be buying them from us, and he would just send the check on our behalf.
Got it. Yep. That's all I got.
All right, Cody, I appreciate you. Corey, stand by. We're going to break the live stream. So make sure everybody that, again, if you want to learn from the top salesperson in the country, you need to sign up for Brad the Demand, sign up for Sell Like Cody, because his platform is fire. Thank you.
So there you have it, the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. This podcast comes to you every week from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you have a question about the show or would like the chance to become a guest, feel free to contact us directly at 856-546-2440 or email us at millionairecarsalesman@gmail.com. This program is a presentation of Synergy Records, produced by Tiana Mick and L.A. Williams. Production and engineering by L.A. Williams. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast is hosted every week by L.A. Williams and the Millionaire Car Salesman himself, Sean V. Bradley. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast can be found everywhere, so please don't forget to review, subscribe to, and share the show. Thanks for listening to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and remember, where I'm from, money provides options. If you enjoyed this podcast, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave us a review. Let some other folks know about it. Oh, and don't forget to join the Millionaire Car Salesman group on Facebook. We'll see you there.